Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to present Miss Teresa Wright and Mr. and Mrs. Lester Colbert, the president of the Chrysler Corporation.
Well, we're delighted to be out here, and also we're pleased with the show that we did see an hour or so ago, and I'm sure, Miss Wright, that you'll be pleased when you see it too.
The stars of the Shower of Stars, Mr. and Mrs. Harry James Betty Grable, and also the star of the Columbia picture, soon to be released, 3 for the show.
Right.
In Technicolor and widescreen.
Oh, by all means.
You've always been great, both of you, and it's a pleasure to have you in our screen snapshot.
Sure.
And we look forward to 3 for a show. What do you have, Harry?
What do we have?
We have a nice
He plays the best music.
The best
we have
music.
we have a nice road trip lined up for about the next 6 weeks.
Oh, and you don't love that, do you?
No,
We can
no,
get
I
our new
don't
house
like
all
that.
fixed up while I'm gone.
Well, it's good to see you both,
Thank you.
Harry James and Betty Grable, Mr. and Mrs. Harry James. And thank you for coming.
Thank you.
This is a real pleasure to introduce one of my co-workers, Freddie Carter and Mrs. Carter, better known as Jane Wyman. You all know Jane. And we want to welcome you to the Shower of Stars.
Thank you very much.
We'll
Pleasure
say,
to be here, Ralph.
we'll say a little
Wonderful
more
night.
than that. Come
It really
on.
is.
Huh?
Crystal Room looks very beautiful tonight.
Well, of course, it ought to look beautiful because Freddie's going to be up there making it beautiful with all of those lovely notes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Carter is one of Hollywood's top composers, and you haven't written any new songs lately, have you, Fred?
Well, I have, Ralph, but they haven't been published yet.
You don't want to give us a title?
No, not yet.
Do you
I
have
think
any?
from here to eternity, it ought to rest for a little while, you know.
It's a pleasure to introduce Ozzie and Harriet, Mr. and Mrs. Ozzie Nelson, one of my real favorites on television. In fact,
Thank you.
thank you. In fact, Ozzie has been my favorite, one of my favorite, I won't say the, but right up on top, band leaders of all time. We were just talking about it a few years back when Ozzie was a famous band leader and Harriet was one of our lovely singers.
Well, thank you so much for remembering.
Yeah,
It's been a
real
long time.
pleasure.
David will be 18 this coming month.
Oh, yes.
That makes you feel old, doesn't it?
No.
David
I'm
is-
I'm a yogi. I'm never going to feel old.
Well, I think this is a great night. It's the first time you've ever invited me.
Oh, no. Maureen, you have been in many of the screen
Never.
snapshots. Yes,
No.
you have.
Well, just tell me when.
All right. Well, we'll go back
You're
later
getting
and
me
talk
confused.
about it. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen, may I present the very beautiful
Oh, please. no,
mother
no.
of 7 wonderful children, Mrs. John Farrow, and you all know her as Maureen O'Sullivan,
That's right.
Tarzan's maid. Weren't you in Tarzan once?
Oh, yes. I believe they're being re-released.
Yeah.
So I should probably be the darling of this generation, swinging through the trees.
Well, boy, they certainly picked a big one. You're the new Tarzan, aren't you, Gordon?
That's right.
Yeah, well, I'm Ralph Staub of Screen Snapshots. Ladies
Ralph, how
and
are you?
gentlemen, I want to present Gordon Scott, the new Tarzan.
Thank you, Ralph.
Speed? Are you rolling? Yeah. You're up to speed. Okay. Let's not get a buckle in there now. No buckle?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that
Got
was...
a fresh air in the aperture? Huh? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the famous Bill Bendix Life of Riley Man and Mrs. Bendix. We're just giving you a few of the camera crew cues, huh?
Well, that's a few of the little of the jargon we use in picture business, you know? Like kill the broad, you know. Put a silk on it, tip it down a little, and then kill it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, may I present the very lovely and the very beautiful and the very talented Dorothy Lamour.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you very much.
You know, Dorothy, it's been quite some time since I've seen you and photographed you for Screen Snapshot, and I want to welcome you to Shower of Stars here tonight.
Well, believe me, it's a great pleasure to be here.
It gives me a great pleasure to present the really beautiful, the lovely, and very talented Joan Crawford.
Thank you very much, Ralph.
Well,
Nice to be here.
Well, it's nice to have you, Joan. And I was expecting Caesar.
You mean that great Romero?
Caesar Romero.
Well, he's rehearsing to do another show for the same Chrysler thing, you know.
I see. Well, it's wonderful to have you, and you look just as lovely and beautiful as ever.
Thank you, and thank you for doing such a wonderful job for our town. God bless.
May I introduce Mr. and Mrs. People Are Funny, Art Linkletter and Lois Linkletter.
Hello, Ralph. You know, it seems odd to see you doing the MC job, which you got me to do for nothing for so many years.
Especially young Hollywood.
How do you like my wife's new Hong Kong blouse?
Isn't that beautiful?
We just got back from a trip around the world to be here on your program.
You did.
And that's why we're here.
And I want to welcome you to Shower of Stars.
Thank you.
You being a star and your wife being the star of five wonderful children.
She's the producer. I'm the star.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, Butch. Well, I won't call it Butch. I don't know him that well. That's it, yeah. Cesar Romero, the handsome Cesar Romero. You've never looked better, and you're doing wonderfully. I've been a fan of yours for years. As a matter of fact, when you brought your mother to the movie Mother's Dance,
I remember the party very well.
This is a pleasure. Two of our really wonderful guests, Miss Louella Parsons, Mr. Jimmy McHugh, to come to the Shower of Stars, and I'm certain that you're going to have a very nice evening.
Well, I'm sure we are, Ralph, and it's so nice to see you. It's a great party, isn't it?
It's a wonderful party.
It's thrilling. I haven't seen as many stars in many, many a day. It's wonderful, Ralph.
Mr. and Mrs. Dean Jack.
Well, Ralph, thank you. You know who's sitting in the, right between us? You know, we'll sit like this when we look at it. See, that's Gloria.
Don't get out of the picture.
I'm sorry. Oh, I should know better.
After all his experience,
Yeah, see that? Well, you know, we're giving that crew a bad time up there. I've always been envious of this good-looking, tall, young leading man, Robert Stack.
You know, this is one of the nicest parties I've been to in a long time. As a matter of fact, I had a tough time getting in. They were lined up all the way around the block. This is really it, I think, for the year.
My very good friend, Ginny Sims, and we were just chatting when the camera started about a few years back when we would go up to the home and photograph her two sons. How old is David now?
Well, David is 8 years old, and thanks to you, Ralph, we have a complete record of David. His every birthday, and also Conrad's first birthday, wasn't that right?
Yeah.
Conrad is 4 now, Ralph.
Ladies and gentlemen, this gives me a great deal of pleasure because this gentleman is probably one of the greatest swimmers in the world. I've admired his swimming ability, his acting ability. John Hall, Raymar the Jungle.
Good evening. Ralph, nice to be here.
Leo Carrillo, my very good friend, Mr. California himself.
Thank you, Ralph, very much. I'm awfully glad to be here tonight just to see a lot of people that have done things and are here at this wonderful gathering.
It gives me very, very much pleasure to introduce the beautiful Mrs. Don DeFore and my very good friend Don over here.
Pleasure being here.
This friend of mine has killed him on Broadway. He killed him in pictures, and, well, he's been killing him on television, Jack Haley. And who are you killing now, Jack?
Well, I'm not killing anyone. Of course, a lot of people don't understand that, laymen don't understand what you mean by killing them.
Well, we mean with laughs and with your clever wit.
Well, meaning that that you're a hit someplace.
That's right.
Well,
You
I'm not a
stopped
hit
the
any
show.
place. And the only place I'm a hit right now is at home.
I've been saying all evening that it gives me a great deal of pleasure, but this is more than pleasure. This is a heartfelt sincerity because this gentleman, Mr. Gene Hirschhold, and I have been friends for as many years as we care to talk about.
It's a long time anyway.
Yes, it is, Gene. And, you know, I always think back on the various anniversaries. This is the Crystal Room, ladies and gentlemen, the Beverly Hills Hotel. And we opened this room. They were just completing this.
That's right. That was the 10th anniversary of Dr. Christian.
May I present the very beautiful Ann Jeffries and that very handsome Robert Sterling, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Sterling.
Thank you very much. Lovely introduction.
Yes, thank you.
I want to welcome you to Shower of Stars, and I understand you have a little star of your own at home.
Yes, we do. He's 8 weeks old.
8 weeks old.
He's the spitting image of his dad.
8
only he
weeks,
has blonde
3
hair.
days.
3 days. And what is his name, Bob?
Hasn't worked at TAP yet.
What? Oh, I'm laying off. What's his name?
Jeffries, Hart, Sterling, all family
Isn't
names.
that wonderful?
He'll be Jeff,
Jeffrey.
naturally.
Yeah.
Jeffrey.
And how is his singing voice? Pretty good, pretty good. He came on
Loud,
strong.
anyway.
He's pretty low. I thought you might say it was almost as good as his mother.